Yo, 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 what is up, everybody? Popo here, bringing guys a new video, and today we're going to be breaking down the World Championships. Let's go. Welcome, everybody. We had an amazing World Championship this past weekend, and I want to break down kind of the usage stats and stuff like that. They didn't actually show us the usage stats on day one for some reason, but luckily LabMouse has all the information down for us. We're also going to check on those players to watch and see how well those panned out for me, and yeah, just see what happened and just talk about it a little bit and kind of see where the meta's at and what I think the meta could become. So here's the usage stats right here. Of course, as I had predicted, we got the Urshifu Rapid Strike. It's at a lot less percent than I thought it would probably be, but 57% is still pretty good. We had Rillaboom 44 as the second. Rillaboom actually had a negative win rate, which when it's close to 50 like this at such high numbers, it's not really that concerning. Then Raging Bolt, Incineroar, so far, so good for my rankings. Then we had Farigiraf, so we're doing all right on my rankings. But then we had Iron Hands. Iron Hands isn't something I consider to kind of place that high in the rankings of usage, but it has proved to be very, very good. I mean, earlier in the format, this Pokemon really wasn't used, so it was hard to tell where this Pokemon was going to go for the whole rest of the meta. And yeah, no, it ended up being pretty good. And then we have 3 restricteds topping out near the top 10 with Shadow Rider, Ice Rider, and Miraidon. And then we had Fluttermane. So Fluttermane I didn't expect to be this high. Maybe Chi-Yu in this slot instead, I thought could be a thing. And then the Pokemon that got left out of my top 6 was a Mungus, who actually did not show up too often. Only 15%, only 109 of them in the field, though 52% win percentage is actually pretty good. And we can see here Calyrex Ice Rider actually had the highest win percentage as well, with 151 in the field and getting a 52. That's very, very good. But we'll look a little bit more at that in a second. As for the restricteds, we had Shadow Rider, just as I had predicted. Then we had Ice Rider, Miraidon. Then going all the way down, we had Zamazenta, Galapagos, and rounding it out was Kyogre. So my rankings were pretty much spot on usage stats, which made me feel a little good. The numbers might have been off. These are exactly even, which is kind of crazy. So they could have put this in either order. Galapagos maybe should have been higher because of the win percentage, but it is what it is. It won one more game and lost 3 less games, which I'm not really sure how that maths, but that's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I guess less of them got into Top Cut probably, which we'll look at too. I got the day 2 statistics as well. So as for this, you can see top placement. The biggest surprise is going to be Raging Bolt actually being this high up, 50% win percentage, but only getting to 10th place. None in the top 8 is kind of crazy because this is a Pokemon that I expected to maybe even win the World Championships. Incineroar only had 1 showing in the top 8, none in the top 4, so this is the first World Championship that Incineroar didn't win while it was legal, breaking that streak there. We see Farigiraf and Iron Hands getting wins. This is Iron Hands' second World Championship win out of 2 attempts, and Farigiraf over here is getting its first, though it did come in second last year. We see Miraidon taking the first restricted World Championship it is allowed in, which is kind of a huge deal because if you remember back all the way to when this regulation was announced, Miraidon was everybody's like B. I even saw a couple people putting it C tier, and I'll admit I put it at B tier. I didn't think it was going to be that good. I thought, you know, in a double restricted format, this Pokemon's insane. Single restricted format, this Pokemon's okay. I was wrong, and I'm okay to admit that. This Pokemon is insane. I picked Calyrex Ice Rider to be the winning Pokemon. Unfortunately, it did get second, so didn't get any points there. Calyrex Shadow Rider, not even a top 8 finish. And we'll talk a little bit more about Calyrex Shadow Rider in a few minutes here. Ogerpon Hearthflame being the highest usage is not really surprised. I thought Cornerstone might be a little bit better. 53.37 win percentage, though, is huge, and it did get that first place, getting its first World Championship while it was legal. Whimsicott getting, I believe, its second World Championship. And, yeah, just showing that it's good in these restricted formats, of course. Tornadoes did awful. 45.17. Now, this has been a trend if you've watched these recap videos before, that Tornadoes has just fallen off since Restricted has come along, and it being 45 win percentage is right on par with what it has been performing in the past tournaments, and 27th is not a good finish for a Pokemon at 15%. We got Ogerpon here. Ogerpon Cornerstone, which I thought was going to be the best of the bunch. Barely under 50, 15% usage, so it did have decent usage, but just really didn't show up when the time mattered. Finishing in 7th place, so it did get a top 7 finish, which is really cool because every single form of the Ogerpons actually cut, so that was really, really cool. We have Grimmsnarl here, who's going to be at 11. Look at this, 46% win percentage. Not very good at a 26. Not good. You hate to see that. Chen Pao. This Pokemon I thought could win the World Championship as well, but only a 47 win percentage and 3rd place, so it didn't finish too far off. And Mikhail Kelsch's team. Clefairy with the 50% win. This is another Pokemon I thought could win the World Championships, and only 10th place, so not performing super, super well. Urshifu Single Strike almost did do better than Rapid Strike. It did get 4th place. 52.51% usage, and win rate, which is technically better, so I call that a win. Zamazenta did pretty well considering there was only 63. It did get 3rd place, top 8 for Galapagos as well. Landorus, this was a surprise Pokemon that broke out. A lot of Choice Scarf Landorus were out there, which is not something I had considered going into the tournament, much as the set that was most commonly used on the Iron Hands, which we'll talk about in a little while. But 53.36 win percentage for these Landorus out here. Coming in 2nd place, it kind of deserved the win. Kyogre, if you brought Kyogre, like, respect, right? 45% win percentage, did not perform very well. 14th place. Blood Moon Ursaluna is another Pokemon that I thought could do very, very well. Only 48% win percentage. 49th place. Smeargle was doing really well in day 1. Did not perform in day 2, only 27th place. Pelipper getting 2nd place, but only a 48 win percentage. And then Koraidon. This is probably the biggest downfall of any Pokemon, right? 41%. You see regular Ursaluna here too, 41%, but finishing 5th. But Koraidon, 41% on 5% usage, 36 of them. 25th was the highest placement at Koraidon. There was some really cool Koraidon teams out there too, and this finish is kind of disappointing, honestly, because like I said, there was some pretty cool ones out there. So I thought they were going to do better. Entei, big surprise too, very low win percentage, but getting 3rd place. Aaron Cybertron Zhang used this. It was really cool. Volcarona being up here, 25 on 3% usage, only 41% win percentage, 119th. That's the worst finish out of all of these top Pokemon here. Goldango also sneaking in with a really good win percentage. Now, what I want to look at is I want to see some of these niche Pokemon that perform very, very well. And if you watch the finals, you'll know that there is one specifically that should be somewhere up here, and it's right here. We had Baxcalibur, who went 8-3. There was only one Baxcalibur in the whole thing. Does it tell me who it was here? It does not tell me who it was. But they were teaming up with this team here, where we did see a Slowking, which is something. And yeah, it performed very, very well. 8-3. Got 53rd place. You see the Slowking here too. So that was a very unique team. Iron Valiant, of course, made the finals, so it did end up performing very, very well. We see there was a Moonblast set, but the one that made the finals was Spirit Break, Wide Guard, Coaching, and I believe it was Encore. And yeah, it was okay in the final. Like, we only saw it in the finals, so I don't know how it did the rest of the tournament, but it was like okay. It just kind of just didn't pack what it needed to. I think maybe Fluttermane would have been better in that slot, but I understand because you want the coaching. So it makes sense. Alteria also went 7-3, making day 2. I wish they would have kept fighting because I think they just lost one game in day 2 and then just dropped, which is very unfortunate. But they were also using Groudon. But this had what's it called? Gravity on it, so you weren't missing. And then we can see it also had Sing, so that way the Sings were more accurate. Hurricane, Roost, Sing, Tailwind, Mental Herb. So it was just doing some interesting stuff like that. Of course, this was the Sableye. We could see here Gravity, Skill Swap, Foul Play, and Fake Out. You could Skill Swap away your Prankster onto your Alteria, because Alteria doesn't do anything. It just gets Cloud 9. So you can put Prankster on there, and then you have Prankster, Sing, and Roost, which is really strong. A surprise Pokemon that actually was on quite a few teams was Klefki, and this Pokemon performed very well. 27th place. They were all the same team in the same set, so I'm assuming these players worked together to make this team, but it just really, really performed well. We see that it was Ghost, Terra, Dazzling Gleam, Light Screen, Reflect, Thunderwave with Light Clay, so it was playing the similar kind of role as a Grimmsnarl, but also gaining that Steel type rather than that Dark type, so you're not weak to the Fairy attacks. A Hariyama made day 2, 7-4, and this was another Groudon team, though this one I don't believe had Gravity, so that's something that happened. It was Thick Fat, of course, fighting with Rocky Helmet, which is different. Close Combat, Fake Out, Knockoff, and Wide Guard, so no way to protect, no Assault Vest, no nothing. This dude's doing it, right? This dude's doing it. Respect. And with that, we had Glastrier, not Calyrex. We had Glastrier, and this was on a Koraidon team going 7-4. Body Press, Icicle Crash, Iron Defense, and Protect with leftovers. This is a really risky set, in my opinion, only because of the fact that, like, it is just weak to the things that Koraidon is enabling, so it makes it tough. Skeledirge went 5-3, so now this is the non-day 2 top-end Pokemon. And this is just a Will-Wisp Torch Song, so this is very basic, unaware. And it was paired with those, so you're setting up screens, it looks like, and then you got Miraidon to finish games out. And we just saw that this is on the same exact team there, so you get the Aurora Veil, but you get Disable Encore, which is different. Okay, and then these next two, we're going to talk about one of them now, and that's going to be Pachirisu. We'll skip over Scraggy for the moment, but we will talk about Scraggy in a little bit. So we got the Pachirisu, Rocky Helmet, Follow Me, Helping Hand, Protect, Super Fang, and this is going to be Fairy Terror, Volt Absorb. And if you didn't see the tournament, go back to round 2, as this was Sage and Park's Pokemon, and they faced up against the one and only Cybertron Zang. So if you want to see that incredible match, that was really cool. But this Pachirisu is basically like Miraidon can't beat me. That's the whole set. Miraidon can't beat me because he can't hit me with anything. I turn into Fairy type, and then he can't hit me with that. He can Dazzling Gleam, I guess, but that's only going to do so much. Oranguru was here. I do like Oranguru. I'm a big fan. We got Bulldoze, Instruct, Scary Face, and Taunt. I'm not a big fan of the Scary Face. I don't think this team comp was very good for it. So that would make sense. We have Symbiosis with Covert Cloak, so you can eat your berry and get something off that. Or this is going to be Psychic Seed, so you're also getting Covert Cloak. There's some cool things you can do with that, but I don't think that's the right team comp for this Pokemon. And yeah, there's just a couple others. Unfortunately, Len did not perform very well. There was 9 usages of Tyranitar. It did get 15th place, which is super impressive. Getting top 16 with it was really, really good, but Len did not do well. And we see it was mainly paired up with like Zamazenta, and we see the Latios on that team too. Dragonite did pretty good on 6th place. Gallade got 5th, and you can see the more usage. And the first really strong usage type Pokemon here is going to be that Ogerpon Hearthflame with that 53% win percentage, 111 usage. That's really, really impressive. Everyone used Ivy Cudgel and Spiky Shield, but only 90% used Follow Me. 40 with Woodhammer. We did see one with Brick Break. We had Bullet Seed and Play Rough. Stomping Tantrum on a few of them. Power Whip, we saw a couple of times. Focus Energy Set. I'm not a huge fan of that one. Somebody was cheating, so that's good. Hopefully they were found out, or this is just wrong in here because it says one wrong. Okay, sure. Just don't look at that too hard. So yeah, those are kind of the usages. There was a lot of Dondozo too. Dondozo actually got 6. They got 2 top cut finishes, which was unexpected in my opinion. I really wasn't expecting Dondozo to really make an impact at Worlds at all. We had most of them being grass, but there were 2 dragon types as well. I think dragon's pretty good. Helps you deal with those Miraidons, as well as still being good against a few of the other restricteds too. But yeah, only 6 Tinglu's. Tinglu did pretty good though, 52%. That's not bad on 6. 3 Rocky Helmets, 2 Leftovers, 1 AV. Almost all of them had Sand Tomb though. And it was on some Dondozo team, so had that going on. Haven't seen that composition in a while. But yeah, Tinglu. But yeah, so let us continue here. We got the Assault Vest as the #1 item. That's 80.98%. That's crazy. That's so high. Almost every team had an Assault Vest user. Focus Sash not too far behind there. Covert Cloak, Choice Scarf, Boost Energy, and Life Orb for the top 6. And then we had Goggles and Clear Amulet after that. Terra types Water dominating in this one, which is not super uncommon. Ghost, Fire, Grass, Fairy, and Stellar. Stellar being really high does surprise me. I thought Normal would probably be a little bit higher, but did well. So the #1 physical move is actually Fake Out, which is crazy. And then we have Close Combat, U-Turn, Surging Strikes. Just Surging Strikes and U-Turn and Close Combat kind of get on there because the usage of Urshifu was so high. Then we had Draco Meteor, Thunderclap, Moonblast, Thunderbolt, Volt Switch as those top, and Dazzling Gleam. Of course, Miraidon was there, and so was the Raging Bolts. And then we have Protect, Trick Room, Follow Me, Helping Hand, Taunt, and Spiky Shield with various other ones. Tailwind did not seem to perform too well at this tournament for whatever reason that might cause. And now let's go over some of this stuff too. So the winner was Luca Carabelli, of course, from Italy, and he had a pretty standardish looking team. He was just the best player, you know what I mean? Everybody has played against this. Everybody has practiced against this. Crazy enough, Yuta, this was Yuta's first matchup into Miraidon the whole tournament, which is kind of crazy. I think we can click and actually see opponents, right? So, as you can see here, there was no matches against a Miraidon at all. And they mentioned that on the stream. It looks like he had gone against a bunch of Caly-I Shadow Riders, which I feel like his team was very well built to beat. So, not having those opportunities against Miraidon the whole tournament might have really hurt him in the finals, but performed very well nonetheless. Mikhail Kelsch, running a variation of what they've been running all season with the Zamazenta. Once again, very standard team. This is the exact same 6 as we see on Luca's team. Right here is we see Hard Trick Room by Diego. And Diego's team is really interesting because he had 1 Protect. He only had Protect on Ursaluna. He had Protect on no other one of his Pokemon and still got top 5. Protect no matter. Protect is a copium. We had Shenyu Zhang, and they had a Dondozo team. And now I was rooting for the Dondozo team. I'm going to be honest with you. At a certain point, I was like, let's go Dondozo. I want to see Dondozo in the finals. Actually, I wanted the Dondozo mirror because they were on opposite brackets, and unfortunately, we didn't end up seeing it. Navit Joshi had a pretty interesting team with the Regieleki. This could be the revival of Regieleki. We'll have to see what it looks like going into January when this format returns. Then we got some similar teams here. By similar, I mean exactly the same. With the Galapagos, I think they were running different sets on them. And then we're just going to go round out the top cut. And then we had Ruben. We never get to see Ruben play at all, but have that Clefairy matchup. This is similar to what Wolf won a like a grassroots tournament with. We had Marco Silva. This is a player that I predicted could win this whole thing because they were a very good player, doing pretty well. We had Justin Knox, who was playing Dondozo and Weezing. This is a really interesting team, and would have loved to see Justin on stream, but never got to, unfortunately. Antonio, I can't even speak. Oh yeah, Ruben was the highest placing Raging Bolt. Antonio, a pretty standardish team. This is something I probably would run if I was to go to the World Championship. It would have been similar to this comp, maybe combining a little bit more Trick Room elements to it, but it would have been very similar. Oliver running the Kyogre all the way up until 14th. Absolute respect. And the Roaring Moon. So like this team is something. Respect for getting up that high. We had Diego Agu, how do you say that name? Aguirre. I apologize. And this is the the Michael Zhang 6, right? This is what they've done well with. So something we've seen before, but propelling it to 15th place was something people have seen is really impressive. This is also a very hard team composition to use. So crazy respect there. Killian actually knocked out Wolf Glick in top cuts, and this was their team. Pretty standard. Maybe the Fluttermane's a little bit different on these teams, but and that's not actually Water Urshifu, so that's a little bit different too. Wolf Glick. Now let's talk about Wolf for a second. Wolf Glick, my pick to win the whole thing. I think a lot of people's pick to win the whole thing. Said he was locked in, ready to go, and he proved that. He went 18-0 to start this tournament before the absolute collapse of losing 3 straight rounds and getting out of top cut. Now, there's a lot that goes into that, and just saying, oh, yeah, well, he threw. It's probably mentally exhausted. If you watch his stream set, you can just see the amount of energy he was putting into that match, and just like he was so dominant in that match too. And to keep that up for 12 rounds is hard. It's hard. And I just think that he might have lost some steam, and 1 rolled into 2, rolled into 3. So it happens. And the person that he actually steamrolled on stream was Hirofumi Kimura, who was doing amazing, who was also undefeated going into day 2, but ended up getting knocked out before the top 16 cut. So unfortunate there. We have Sho, who was using a very standard team. I would expect to see this team kind of everywhere. Also, Wolf Glick was running a very standard team. Hirofumi's team was very interesting. Like, it's a pretty standard team, but he had some different sets. Like his Ice Rider was actually Poison Terra, and this also had Never Melt Ice, so it was very different. We see Keanu. This is what you would expect for a Zamazenta team now, with the Pelipper and stuff like that. This is a team that I kind of highlighted in my video, what team might win Worlds. Grant's team is crazy. Okay, Grant's team is crazy. So yes, the Ditto, the Zacian. He's got the Regidrago, which is one of my picks to do very well at this tournament, and actually did perform very well in day 1, but not so much in day 2. We had Chiliang Tang, who was running a really cool team. We actually saw him on stream. One of the best matches of the weekend. If you're gonna go watch a match, go watch that match. This team is very cool and very hard to pilot, so respect to them. We have Shohei Kimura, who was the world champion last year. Lost in the first round, came back to make it into cut, but lost before top 16, unfortunately. Would have loved to see them like make the full run. We could have had, because they were on opposite brackets, we could have had Shohei versus Makil in the finals again. Would have been insane. Would have loved that. But that could have happened, and we were robbed. We have Taran Birdie, who is absolutely annihilated on stream in their cut match, but did a fantastic job playing a pretty standard team, but changing up something, and that was going to be that Urshifu from Water to Dark. Carlos Cabal also running that that Ditto, which is always cool. We have, of course, the Koraidon, so you're gonna empower, your Flutter Mane, your Raging Bolt, and your Chi-Yu to do tons of damage. Always a good team. Eric Rios had a stream on Match where they were Calm Mind with Galapagos, and it was just a kind of very aggressive team that was really cool to see being used. Sebastian with that Clef Key. This is that Clef Key team we were talking about. And yeah, that is the top cut, I believe. No, oh yeah, it was here. 24 was the final top cut. So, but there's a few players that we want to talk about here, right? So, let's just talk about the day 2 usage first. So this is going to be the day 2 usage that we saw because I forgot to go over it. We have 61% of the field is using that sorry, Urshifu. My brain is mush because these last days, I usually don't stay up late, and these last days I have for the World Championship. But as you can see, it's pretty standard going all the way down. It stays very, very similar to actually the normal usages. And then we see sprinkled in just a few like one-ofs that did fairly well. We see 2 Azashians, and then we saw 2 Lunalas. Like, that's crazy too. But then there's a bunch of one-ofs that, some people didn't expect, like Iron Leaves. I bet you nobody's expecting that. Alteria is probably the craziest one, to be honest. And Basilegion, which is something that's going to be very dangerous in Regulation H, and you're going to have to watch out for. We also had 2 Electabuzz and 2 Serena. Serena, another Pokemon I had highlighted on my video. And we had 3 Screamtails, though they didn't end up performing super, super well. So that is the day 2 stats. And we had this, right? So I went over this, but I actually updated this. Let me get the updated version for you guys. Because I did actually update this. I just forgot to switch this. Okay, there we go. So I want to go over these players, and we're going to take a look at their teams and what they use. We already went over Wolf Glick. We saw what Wolf Glick was using. So we will skip over him. But let's go right to Jose here. Unfortunately, Jose did not have the greatest tournament results of all time. And this is what Jose was using. Jose was using Dondozo with Rocky Helmet, which is different. Wave Crash, Order Up, Earthquake, Protect. Iron Hands, Assault Vest, very basic. Wasn't using that Low Kick variant, which, like I said, we'll talk about in a minute. Ogerpon Cornerstone, pretty standard there. We had Calyrex Ice Rider with Clear Amulet, pretty standard there. Blood Moon Ursaluna, very standard there. And this is going to be a Choice Scarf Tatsugiri, very standard, except it doesn't have Sleep Talk. It actually has Dragon Pulse instead. So, on this team, I mean, it's a pretty decent team, but I think it's something that might lack a little bit of synergy with, Dondozo Tatsugiri kind of trying to fit into this Calyrex Ice Rider team. And that's where it might have fallen apart. You also don't have any way to really get past the Calyrex Shadow Riders besides your Blood Moon Ursaluna. This is also normal Terra up on the Tatsugiri. So that could have been some of the downfalls of the team. I don't know. I haven't talked to Jose about it, but those are the little things I saw comparing it to what the meta ended up becoming in this tournament. So you can only take it at face value. Don't take it any other way. All right, next we have Jacob. So let's go to Jacob. Now, oops, if I could spell. So Jacob's team was extremely standard here. Clear Amulet, Fire Terra with the basic set. Parting Shot, Flare Blitz, Will-O-Wisp, Fake Out with Ghost. Assault Vest, Water, basic set here. Raging Bolt, Booster Energy, basic set here. Choice Scarf, Urshifu, basic set there. And a Moongus, basic set here with the Clear Smog. So a little bit different, though. We did see Clear Smog doing well in later on, but this is Covert Cloak, so that's a little bit different too. Now, I've played against Jacob at locals a lot. I've seen his teams. I've seen what he's done. I've seen what he's done well with. I've never seen him play a standard team, and I think maybe that could have been the downfall of this situation, was that he was just playing a standard team. Maybe it just you know, it didn't have that spark, that Jacob Littner spark that I think that I'm used to seeing from him, and just having that unique, interesting Pokemon that fits a specific niche on his team, and I respect it. You're going for what you know works in the meta, but so do other people, right? Other people know that this works, so they're ready for it. So it's hard to navigate with a team like this. But yeah, I mean, respect, but I think that might be where the downfall was for that. Next we have Michael Zhang. So Michael Zhang actually ended up bringing the exact team that nobody thought he would bring. Everybody thought he would have created something new, but actually just went with the team he has done well with before. Went 5-3, so not the greatest finish for him, but of course we have the Latios, Life Orb, Protect, Lester Purge, Icy Wind, Draco Meteor. Again, this team is extremely, extremely hard to use. It might not even seem it when you look at it like this, but it go use this team. The rental code's out there somewhere for at least a variation of this team. It's very hard to use. I think this is a change up though. Tyranitar or Focus Sash over Assault Vest, but I could be wrong there. But Stone Edge, Rock Slide, Protect, Knockoff, so it's running double rock moves. Choice Band Rillaboom, it might also be a change. Booster Energy, Flutter Mane, of course, with the Icy Wind, but also Thunder Wave, which is something we saw very commonly at this tournament, was people going for Thunder Wave and Icy Wind to get double speed control there. Oop. Press the wrong button. All right. Next, we have Paul Chua. So Paul Chua actually did make day 2. Why didn't not? There we go. Paul Chua. And Paul Chua is running a Blood Moon Ursaluna team. Very standard set there. A pretty standard set here. A Moongus Rocky Helmet standard sets. Standard set here. Pretty standard set here. And a standard set here. So very, very standard set that people know works. Trick Room was a little bit more focused here than some of the other Calyrex Ice Rider teams that we saw in the top cuts. But maybe that might be what hurt it more. It doesn't seem like the Blood Moon, Ursaluna, plus the Calyrex Ice Rider teams were really performing. I thought they would be very, very good, but maybe people were just super, super ready for them. It does have ways to deal with that Calyrex, so it was not lacking any of that, but you know, it's a hard field, so sometimes you just lose. Sometimes you just lose. Next we have Zachary Weed. Zachary Weed was running an interesting team. We see the Zacian over everything else, and the Iron Jugulis. Volcarona, of course, we saw Volcarona did not perform well at this tournament at all, so it wasn't just situated on Zach himself. Urshifu, Rapid Strike with the Mystic and Mystic Water. We see Chempao. It's going to be pretty standard with the Sacred Sword. I feel like Sacred Sword could have been dropped in this tournament. It didn't seem to be as strong as it has been in the past. Rillaboom with the Assault Vest, very standard with the high horsepower rather than U-Turn, which maybe on this team is fine, but I think U-Turn is just better. And Iron Jugulis with the Snarl, Air Slash, Tailwind. This is a pretty good counter to Calyrex Shadow Rider, except a lot of them now are running Covert Cloak, so it makes it really, really hard to take advantage of this Snarl. But Zacian, I just don't think Zacian's very good, and that could have been downfall. Maybe something else here, maybe even Zamazenta here, maybe changes this whole tournament for Zach, as it still fits in this team pretty well, and just does something completely different, but yeah, Zacian is just really, really hard to use. In double restricted, I think Zacian's going to be pretty good. I think Zamazenta will still be better, though. I think we'll see Zamazenta plus Miraidon teams, which is going to be a good time for everybody. We had Eduardo Cunha, former world champion, and was running the Clefairy Calyrex, but with a spell tag. Nasty Plot, Psychic, Astral Barrage seemed to be the most common one, but Terra Normal was a little bit different. We did see some people running it, but it wasn't the most common Terra. We saw Dark on stream twice, so Dark seemed to be pretty popular too. Clefairy with EVLA, of course. Grass Terra, I think, is the best one, but it's Heal Pulse So that's a little bit different too. Incineroar, Rillaboom, pretty standard there. Urshifu, Rapid Strikes with Focus Sash, which was, I think, the most common version of it. Choice Scarf kind of fell off a little bit. And Raging Bolt. As you can see from a lot of these teams, Tailwind really wasn't relevant to their success. And I find that just extremely interesting. That we had such a fall off there. All right, we got Huma Hara. And they ended up 9th place, so this is the best performing person I had on my list of players to watch. With a relatively standard team, but using the Galapagos, and this is going to be a substitute Calm Mind with only Terra Starstorm. And if you do watch the stream match, I feel like he played very poorly. And I don't know if it was because of nerves or what it was, but it just seemed like they were making a lot of mistakes and just like switching for no reason. In my opinion, that's what it seemed like. But we have Incineroar with Rocky Helmet, which was really common this weekend. With a very standard set, Rillaboom with the Grass Terra to get extra damage with the Wood Hammer, Grassy Glide. We had Urshifu with that Mystic Water with Poison Terra to stop from being knocked out from fairies. We have Fluttermane with Booster Energy with the Fairy, and like we see again, the Icy Wind and the Thunder Wave both being on there. And then we had Hearth Flame with Mold Breaker, of course, and that's Ivy Cudgel, Horn Leech. And something I'd forgot and actually appeared on stream was that Mold Breaker breaks through Terra Shift, and it's something I always forget. I don't know why, but it does make Hearth Flame a lot better in those cases, but nothing too crazy there. But just like I said, on that one set they played pretty poorly. We're gonna skip over John Hu for now. So I want to talk about them last. So we're gonna go to, where are you? We're gonna go to Ju Young Hong. 4-4. Not a great showing there, but it's a pretty standard team with Farigiraf. Foul Play was one of the most common moves on Farigiraf, if not the most common move, I feel like. Raging Bolt, pretty standard here with Booster Energy. Incineroar, the same set as everybody else. We had the Urshifu Rapid Strike with Focus Sash. Caly-Rex Ice Rider, the exact same as everybody else. Rillaboom with Solvest, exact same as everybody else. So this could be another case of everybody's ready for this, so it's really hard to use it. We didn't get to see them play on stream or anything like that, so we don't know, but when you have a team like this and everybody has seen it before, even if you have different EVs and stuff on it, it could still just be too similar, and people might be ready for it and have calced for everything that you're doing to survive, to knock you out and stuff like that. So you gotta just be very careful, and sometimes you just have one or two wrong things go wrong for you, and you lose your match. And then we have Shrey Wei, which I know I'm still not saying that right, and of course I'm not into the thing. They finished 38th, and with the Miraidon team, with the Hearth Flame. So this is the exact 6 that was in the finals that won the whole thing. So pretty standard on that set. With the light screen being on Whimsicott is something that we saw people teching on, which is a really cool tech, honestly, and it pairs really well with that Miraidon. I think it's really funny that Miraidon Terra Fairy has come back when Electric just seemed like a way stronger option, but Terra Fairy has really taken over and obviously has won the whole thing. And we see that Iron Hands I've been alluding to, and now we'll talk about it. And this is the low kick variant. This isn't something I had seen leading up to this tournament, but it seemed like everybody else had. This move is very, very strong, and I get why. There's so many heavy Pokemon that this thing is just doing massive amounts of damage. We saw a Helping Hand low kick, like, knock out a Raging Bolt that was at like 70%. So low kick is definitely a fantastic option. It's better than close combat for sure, and you can easily fit it on, whereas Heavy Slam's not really needed much anymore. So yeah, use low kick because it's very, very good if you're still playing some Reg H or something. Switch it up, put on low kick and Bug Terra. That was the most common too, and he looks so funny with the Bug Terra. So he gets bonus there. And now, last but not least, John Hu. This was not his team. Wait, hold on. This was not John Who's team. Hold on. Wait, they got John's team wrong. Oh, hold on. Oh, no, it's not Scrafty. It's Scraggy. There he is. Okay, well, here's the actual team. Okay. I'm pretty sure, because he had mentioned it on his Twitter, this is what he used. So, I don't know what this is. That's not what he posted. He said, oh man, I was one away from making Scraggy make day 2. Coaching Endeavor, fake out foul play. We had it next to the Ice Rider. I don't think I could see like the team sheet of this Pokemon, which is kind of annoying. Poison Terror gets rid of the weaknesses, of course. Eviolite, making it bulky. And then we have like Landorus. Like this is a pretty standard setup. Maybe besides the Ogre Pond, maybe this is Cornerstone usually. And maybe it should have been Cornerstone anyways, but pretty standard here. And then you just add Scraggy on for some reason. And you just click fake out foul play. It's probably because it survives an Astral Barrage pretty comfortably and allows you to go for foul play or Endeavor to take something else out, right? So that's most likely where it comes from. And if you set up Trick Room, it's slower than Caly-I, so you can start going for those coachings. So yeah, crazy. I don't know what this is once again, because this is not the team that he posted on Twitter. I wouldn't be surprised maybe this was his team and that was somebody else's team. I don't know, but he posted that on Twitter saying that I almost got it into, day 2. So I have no idea. Though this is a super unique team too, so I wouldn't be surprised. We have Toxic Spikes, Poison Gas. Like, what are we doing here? Strange. Actually, you know who used this team? Like almost Nino. Nino had a team almost exactly like this. This might be the Nino infiltrate and make this his team. There's one more person I want to check because I didn't check their team yet. And that's Jamie Boyd, though my J didn't work. Because they were running Monkey Dory. So, Monkey Dory, Sludge Bomb, Psychic, U-Turn, and Fake Out with the Assault Vest. That's interesting. I like the Monkey Dory, but I've used it a couple times, never used it with Assault Vest, so maybe that might be the call, but it just always felt like meh. But it always feels insane when you go for Fake Out and you actually get a Toxic off. Like, it's crazy. It's insane. We have Koraidon with Choice Band, Close Combat, Outrage, Flare Blitz, and U-Turn, so this thing is just out there to do damage. Brute Bonnet, we're seeing Brute Bonnet, Seed Bomb, Sucker Punch, Spore, and Rage Powder. Sure. We have Chen Pao with Focus Sash, Ice Spinner, Sucker Punch. Of course, this is just pretty standard. Gouging Fire, we haven't seen in forever. This is going to be Clear Amulet, and it's going to go for Burning Bulwark, Dragon Dance, Stomping Tantrum, and Heat Crash. I tried Dragon Dance in the past. I felt like it was just worse than Howl. My personal opinion. Especially if you're next to that Koraidon. Just use Howl, I think. Then we had Walking Wake with Dragon Pulse, Draco Meteor, Hydro Steam. Pretty standard there with Life Orb and Water Terra. So, like, this team is crazy. Jamie Boy is insane. Like, a mad person. If I see this rental, I'll probably try to use it on stream. Because, yeah, I really do want to try it. But that is it for the World Championships. Congratulations to anybody who finished in the top. Congratulations to anybody who made it. I couldn't make it. I'm too trash at this game to never make it. So take my opinions with a very small grain of salt because, you know, your boy is trash. We have Luca and Yuta with a great finals, super fast-paced finals. It was really fun to watch. There's just so many new players in this top list that, like, some of these players I've never heard of before, and you know, it's really cool to see those players doing really well. Like, I don't know who Ruben is. Like, I've never heard of this person before. Like, Luca, we've talked about before on one of our EUIC recaps over there, because they did well at that tournament. Like, I don't know who Yuta is. Yuta's apparently been here for a long time, but I've never seen Yuta near the top. Of course, the Japanese players are harder to follow. A lot of their stuff's not streamed or anything. So that's tough. You know, Antonio Sanchez, I don't know who that is. So there were just a lot of players that were in this top cut. or close to top cut that I just don't know who they are. And that's cool. That's super cool. But you know what also that means? That means that the game's about to be pay to win, because none of these players were in the top 75 except one. So anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you guys thumbs it up. If you're not subscribed, make sure you do so, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, everybody.